Hey guys, welcome back to the Jewett kitchen. Today we're making a classic supreme pizza. If you're just tuning in, the past few months I've been doing this food series where I've been cooking different things that I eat flexibly in the off season. I try to match my macronutrients to those foods. If you didn't see it, I did one on sushi. I also did one on doing like a turkey tenderloin. So this month, it's my favorite food, we're doing pizza. It's really simple to make, and there's a lot of flexibility, so that even with like lower carbohydrate amount or higher fat amount, you can make this work within your diet. So, first things first, what you're gonna need. The basics, you'll need some parchment paper, a baking tin, which you could do a round one, you could do a square one. It's your pizza, do what you want. Something to roll your pizza out with. If you don't have a rolling pin, use a wine bottle. Use something to roll it out with. Ingredient wise, so the crust is gonna be self-rising baking flour. If you don't have self-rising baking flour, you can make it your own, just using all-purpose flour. And look it up. I don't know how to do it off the top of your head, but off the top of my head, so I would get the self-rising flour. It's a lot easier that way. And then yogurt, just non-fat Greek yogurt. This together is what's gonna make the crust. And what I do, and you can look below in this description, is I'll have the macros for each, macronutrients laid out for each ingredient. I'm not counting my vegetables, because those are a lot of fiber sources and they're not huge contributors to calories, but everything that does have a large contribution to calories, I am counting in that. And so for my macronutrients tonight, I was aiming for about 150 grams of carbs, 55 grams of protein, and 15 grams of fat, which is 815 calories for this meal. And so what I've selected food amount wise gets me to 120 grams of carbs, 60 grams of protein, and 13 grams of fat, which is about 845 calories. So I'm within 30 calories, which is super close. So what I want you to do if you are working with macronutrients and trying to fit this within your off-season diet, realize you have flexibility. So you don't think that you have to hit right at 121 grams of carbs. A little bit of flexibility, especially if calories are higher, is not gonna make a big difference in the big picture for the day. Also, if you're having trouble making enough crust because maybe your carbohydrates are lower, you could shift some carbohydrates around, and big picture for the whole day, it's not gonna be a big deal. Even for me, I am a little off. Like I said, I can move some stuff from my next meal and adjust it to where I can still fit within those macronutrients. So for my pizza, ingredient wise, I'm gonna use 150 grams of flour. 140 grams of flour, which is roughly a cup, and 150 grams of yogurt. So I found using a little bit more weight of yogurt gives a better consistency to the crust. I do have cornmeal here. You don't have to use cornmeal. Use cornmeal to lay down, just so that while you're rolling out the dough, it won't stick. I like cornmeal in the bottom of my crust. It makes it really crisp and gives it a good texture. If you're a Neapolitan pizza purist, I know it's only flour and that's it, but you could just lay down flour too if you want to roll it out that way. For my pizza sauce, I'm using, we have, here in Texas, we have HEB. It's just an organic traditional pizza sauce. It's one I found that a quarter cup is like 35 calories. It has a good taste. It's not super thin. So again, be flexible guys. It comes down to what your macronutrients are and what you're selecting. Now cheese is the big issue in pizza because the fat adds up really quick, also contributes a lot of protein. You also want something that's gonna melt too, so I do a mix. So I get a fat-free mozzarella, and then I get a part skim pizza blend, and I'll do about an ounce of each. And so I have some that melts really good. The fat-free cheese, it does melt. It's not quite the same, but again, I have to keep, for me, I have a really high carbohydrate diet and very low fat, so that's why I have to adjust the way I do. If you do have higher fats in your diet, go with the full fat cheeses. That's an easy way to add more fats in. Then for my proteins, so a lot of the protein is already gonna come in the flour. So there's 15 grams of protein in the flour that I'm using, another 15 grams in just the yogurt I'm using. So I can't add a ton of meats on them. I'm gonna go way over my protein. So I just do a turkey pepperoni. You can do 12 slices of this turkey pepperoni, and it's only 3 grams of fat. And I think this comes out to 7 grams of protein. And then 1 slice of turkey bacon, which 1 slice of turkey bacon, use this Applegate. It's very low fat. It's 1.5 grams of fat, 5 grams of protein. 1 slice of turkey bacon of that goes very far. So those are my main calorie contribution ingredients. The other things I'm gonna add in, McCormick Italian seasoning. I mix this into my flour and yogurt and add some seasoning into the crust. I'll also use some red onion, mushroom, green bell pepper, and some minced garlic. So those will be my veggies that are going on. Again, guys, I don't count those calories. I recommend eating a variety of vegetables in the off season and just add some more colors to your diet. Don't count them and limit yourself in that. So that's the layout of all my ingredients. Like I said, guys, below is the description for the macros for each ingredient. Modify this how you need to. Either make a smaller dough for your crust, add more ingredients that are higher in fat if you need to do it that way, or even add more protein that way. I've made an even lower fat pizza using doing a barbecue chicken pizza. You do like G. Hughes barbecue sauce instead of your normal sauce, all fat-free cheddar and chicken, and you could get really, really close down to like 2-3 grams of fat for the entire pizza. All right, guys, let's get started. All right, so first step, guys, is we're going to turn on our oven and preheat it to 425 degrees. And preheat the oven with your pans in, get the pans hot. We'll slide the pizza onto the pans and it'll brown it up a lot better, make it more crisp that way. I'm putting 2 pans in because I'm making my wife's pizza at the same time. Next step, we're going to combine our flour and our yogurt into a bowl and just mix it until we get a nice, smooth consistency. Doesn't look like it's going to get very moist, but it does, and it just takes a little bit of time to work it in. I just use a spoon. I'm sure like some of our bakers out there have a much better way to do it. But when you first put the yogurt in, it looks like you don't have enough at all. But just keep mixing, keep working in, and it will form into a ball. And we're also, at the same time, just gonna add in some Italian seasoning. Okay, so I kept mixing it till I formed a pretty good dough ball. So I can set that aside. Now I can lay out my parchment paper. I do the parchment paper because I can spread out on this and I can just slide it onto my pan. Makes it really easy that way. Make it easier on yourself, flip it over the other way so it's not curling up on you. Then with our cornmeal, you can just spread it across the parchment paper. And then we're just going to take our dough ball. And what I do, since I have a square pan, is I kind of start moving it with my hands into a rectangle so I can roll it out into a square. I know y'all are out there just rolling your eyes at a square pizza, and I'm just making a cardinal sin over here because pizza's supposed to be round, and I hear you. So this is a thinner crust, Detroit style. I know, it's just. All right, so once you kind of have your square formed, just set it on your parchment paper, and we're just gonna roll it out. And you're gonna roll it out to about, I'd say about 1/8 of an inch. You can get it pretty thin. Just start from the middle, rolling out to the sides. Now that my pizza crust is all rolled out, it's definitely not a perfect rectangle or a perfect circle. It's a very abstract pizza. Just fold the sides over to make your crust, and you can make them as thick or as thin as you want. Again, since it's going in like this rectangle, I'm not too concerned with the shape of it. Also, it's my pizza, so I don't really care if it's perfect either. More important is the taste. So I have a 1/4 cup of tomato sauce laid out. You can just spoon it on and just start spreading it out. And really guys, the sauce is pretty low calorie. So if you want to go heavier on the sauce, it'd be easy to. It wouldn't be large contribution to your macronutrients, but like for this pizza, a 1/4 cup of sauce, like I said, it's like 35 calories, and it goes a long way. Sauce is on. It's up to you guys if you like your ingredients on first, then your cheese, or your cheese and your ingredients. For me, I put my cheese on first. So I have my fat-free mozzarella and my 2% skim pizza blend. So I'm just gonna sprinkle those out. Like I said before, the real issue with pizza and trying to make it either low carb or low fat is that the cheese can be a limiting factor, and that's what it is for me. My pizza is low fat, so I just can't put a lot of cheese on. But it's still enough to where it has some good coverage. So next, put on my veggies. So just spread out my red onion. Put some mushrooms on. Have some green bell pepper. And some minced garlic. The last thing I will add will be my pepperoni and my turkey bacon. And these turkey pepperonis, they taste really good. They did a really good job making them like a real pepperoni flavor. And 12 pepperonis for this pizza, it goes pretty far. You get some pretty good coverage with it. And last, add on my turkey bacon. All right guys, so I took the hot pan out of the oven. I'm just gonna pull the parchment paper and slide my pizza onto the pan, and then we can move it into the oven. And then we're gonna set our timer for 20 minutes and we'll come check on the pizza. We're just looking for the crust to get golden brown. Once you see that, it might go a little longer than 20 minutes depending on how thick you made your pizza, and then that'll be ready. So our timer went off for the pizza. I glanced at them, it was right at 20 minutes. The crust is golden brown, they're done. So 20 minutes was like perfect timing on them. So I have my pizza and my wife's pizza in here. We'll take both out. So we just let them sit here, cool a little bit, then we'll slice them up and they'll be ready to eat. Okay, so I just pulled out that parchment paper and I'm just gonna cut the pizza. You can use a pizza cutter, but my mom throughout all of my life has used scissors in the kitchen for like everything to cut any type of food, and we cut our pizza with scissors, which I know is so strange. So my pizza won't fit on my plate, so I'm gonna cut it up, just move some slices to my plate, and go from there. But you can see, guys, like, I'll show you this. Like, this pizza is crisp. Like, it holds, like, it's not like some flimsy crust. It's really crisp and it holds the toppings well. So just flour and yogurt. I would have never thought it worked, but it works very, very good. So that wraps up our pizza, guys. Easy prep, maybe 10 minutes to make your crust, 20 minutes in the oven, and you have yourself a delicious pizza. Last things though, before we eat our pizza, a few other ideas for you. You can use some extra yogurt and Hidden Valley Ranch powder to make your own like lower calorie, low fat ranch. If you can fit it in your macros, have some Parmesan on your pizza, have some red pepper flakes. Look below. The full list of ingredients, the recipe, everything you need to make it is down below, guys. Let me know any comments or questions you have on making pizza or something you want me to make for next time to match macros. Now it is time to enjoy pizza and watch a movie. Awesome.